She was never supposed to fall in love with him. Not with a man like Adrian Hale. Not with the billionaire whose name ruled headlines, whose companies shaped cities, and whose cold expression warned the world to stay away. She was sent to marry him, to gain his trust, and to destroy him from the inside. But no one warned her about the silence behind his wealth, or the kindness he hid where no one was looking. And by the time she realized the truth, it was already too late to walk away. Because the man she was meant to ruin was the only person who had ever truly seen her. And the secret she carried wasn't just dangerous. It was deadly. Character introduction: New York City glittered like a galaxy beneath Adrian Hale's penthouse windows. 50 floors above Manhattan, the world looked small, controlled, predictable, exactly how he preferred it. Adrian Hale was worth billions. Tech empire, private jets, charity galas with cameras flashing like lightning. Yet every night ended the same way. Silence. No laughter echoing through the marble halls. No one waiting when he returned home. 5 years earlier, his fiancée had betrayed him, leaking confidential company data for money and fame. The scandal nearly destroyed his business. Since then, Adrian trusted contracts more than people. Employees respected him. Investors feared him. But no one truly knew him, except the loneliness he never admitted existed. Across the city, Elena Cross stared at her reflection in a small apartment mirror. Elegant black dress, calm expression, carefully practiced confidence. She looked like a woman ready for a high society gala, not someone preparing to change a man's life forever. She opened a message on her phone. 3 words appeared. Tonight is critical. Her hand trembled slightly, because tonight, she would meet Adrian Hale. And everything after that would be a lie. At least that was the plan. First encounter: the Hale Foundation Charity Gala overflowed with wealth and power. Crystal chandeliers glowed above politicians, celebrities, and billionaires pretending happiness. Adrian stood near the balcony, detached from the crowd. Watching. Always watching. That's when he noticed her. Elena wasn't trying to impress anyone. She stood quietly near an art display, studying a painting as if the room didn't exist. Curious. Different. When their eyes met, she didn't look away immediately. Most people did. He walked toward her. "You don't look impressed," he said. She smiled slightly. "I'm deciding if the painting is honest." He raised an eyebrow. "Paintings lie. Only when people pretend they understand them." For the first time that evening, Adrian almost smiled. Something about her felt real, and that unsettled him. Because Adrian Hale trusted instincts, and his instincts told him this woman mattered. Elena felt it too. This wasn't supposed to feel personal. Yet standing beside him, she sensed something unexpected. Gentleness beneath control. Loneliness behind confidence. She reminded herself why she was there. This man had ruined lives, including her father's. She couldn't forget that, even if his voice made her hesitate. Growing connection. Their second meeting felt accidental. The third did too. By the fourth, neither pretended coincidence anymore. Adrian invited her for coffee instead of lavish dinners. He seemed more comfortable in quiet places. He listened more than he spoke. One evening, rain trapped them inside a small bookstore cafe. Elena watched him help an elderly employee lift heavy boxes without revealing who he was. No cameras, no audience, just kindness. "Why didn't you tell her you own half the city?" Elena asked afterward. He shrugged. "Kindness doesn't count if it's performance." The words stayed with her, because the man she was sent to destroy didn't match the monster she'd been told about. Yet every night she reported updates to someone unseen. Every detail, every vulnerability, and each message felt heavier to send. Weeks later, Adrian made a proposal. Not romantic, strategic. A marriage arrangement. Public stability for him. Financial security for her. A partnership without emotional expectations. It should have been easy to accept. It aligned perfectly with her mission. Still, her chest tightened when she said yes. Because somewhere deep down, she knew this lie would hurt them both. Emotional conflict. Marriage changed everything. Publicly, They became New York's most fascinating couple. Privately, they moved carefully around each other like strangers learning a shared language. Adrian never demanded affection, never crossed boundaries. He gave her space, respect, patience, and that frightened Elena more than cruelty ever could. Because kindness made betrayal unbearable. Sometimes she disappeared late at night. Secret meetings, encrypted calls. Adrian noticed. He noticed everything. Trust had once destroyed him, and doubt began creeping back. One night he asked quietly, "Are you running from something, or toward it?" She hesitated too long. "I just need time," she said. He nodded, but something inside him closed again. And Elena felt it, the distance growing, the damage already beginning. Suspense and twists. Twist 1. The investigation. Adrian hired a private investigator. Not out of anger, out of fear. The report arrived weeks later. Elena Cross didn't exist 5 years ago. New identity, new records, manufactured history. His chest tightened. Everything about their relationship suddenly felt staged. Had he been fooled again? But instead of confronting her, Adrian waited. He needed the truth. And the truth was closer and darker than he imagined. Twist 2. The enemy appears. One night Adrian followed her. A black car. A quiet warehouse near the river. He watched Elena meet an older man. They argued. He caught only fragments. "You're getting too close? This wasn't part of the deal. He doesn't deserve this." Adrian's world tilted. She was working with someone. Against him. The betrayal felt inevitable. Familiar. Painful. But what he didn't hear was her saying, "I won't hurt him." Twist 3. The hidden truth. Adrian finally confronted her. Documents spread across the table. Fake identity. Secret meetings. Silence filled the room. Elena's eyes filled with tears. Not fear, but exhaustion. "You deserve the truth," she whispered, and everything changed. Shocking reveal. Years earlier, Adrian's company acquired a struggling tech firm. Legally, profitably, efficiently. But the acquisition forced layoffs, including a senior engineer, Elena's father. He lost everything. Debt consumed him. Stress destroyed his health. He died believing Adrian Hale had ruined his life. A rival corporation approached Elena afterward. They claimed Adrian's company intentionally sabotaged smaller firms. They offered proof, or what looked like proof. They recruited her. Her mission was simple: marry Adrian, gain access, expose corruption, destroy his empire. At first, revenge felt justified, necessary. But living beside Adrian revealed another truth. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't corrupt. He didn't even know her father's name. And Elena realized something horrifying. She had been manipulated, used. The real enemy wanted Adrian destroyed for business power. And she had helped them get close enough. Deep emotional moment. "I came into your life as a lie," she said, voice shaking. Adrian stared at her, pain visible for the first time. Was any of it real? She stepped closer. "Yes." A whisper. "I didn't expect you to be kind." Silence stretched between them. "I didn't expect to fall in love with you." Those words shattered the last wall around his heart. Because he believed her. And that made everything worse. Climax. The rival corporation launched their attack days later. Leaked documents. False accusations. Stock prices collapsing. Media frenzy. Everything Elena had unknowingly helped build. Adrian faced financial ruin. But Elena had one final choice. She returned to the man who recruited her, wearing a hidden recorder. She confessed everything publicly during a live press confrontation. The manipulation, the lies, the setup, her own guilt. The truth exploded across media networks. The rival CEO was arrested within hours. Adrian's name cleared. But Elena's reputation was destroyed. To the public, she was still the woman who betrayed him. And she believed she didn't deserve forgiveness. So she left. Without goodbye. Powerful emotional ending. Months passed. Adrian rebuilt his company. Stronger than before. Yet the penthouse felt emptier than ever. One evening, he visited a small community tech center funded anonymously. Inside, children learned coding on donated computers. He found Elena there, teaching quietly. No wealth, no disguise, just purpose. She froze when she saw him. "I didn't want to hurt you again," she said softly. He walked closer. "You already did," he admitted. Her eyes fell. Then he added gently, "But you also saved me." Silence trembled between them. "I don't trust easily," he said. "But I know kindness when I see it." He took her hand. Not as a billionaire. Not as a victim. Just as a man choosing love despite fear. Outside, the city lights flickered alive again. For the first time, Adrian Hale's home wouldn't be silent. Because the woman sent to destroy him had become the reason he finally learned how to live. And sometimes, the greatest love stories begin with a lie, only to end with the truth that changes everything. She was never supposed to fall in love with the man she was sent to destroy. The plan was simple. Marry Adrian Hale, earn his trust, steal the truth hidden inside his empire, and walk away before he realized she had never belonged to him. But plans don't account for kindness. And they definitely don't account for loneliness that mirrors your own. On the night Elena Cross became Mrs. Hale, cameras flashed like lightning across Manhattan. America's most untouchable billionaire had finally married. The headlines called it a fairy tale. No one noticed how carefully she avoided his eyes during the vows. No one noticed how his smile never quite reached his heart. And no one knew that hidden inside Elena's wedding ring was a microchip capable of accessing the most secure system in his company. She told herself it wasn't personal. Couldn't be. Because 5 years earlier, Adrian Hale's company had destroyed her family. Or at least, that was the story she believed. High above the city, their wedding reception glowed with gold and crystal. Champagne flowed. Powerful people laughed too loudly. But Adrian stood near the window, watching the city instead of his guests. Even on his wedding night, he looked alone. Elena noticed, and for a moment, guilt slipped through the cracks of her carefully built resolve. He turned toward her. "Are you happy?" he asked quietly. The question surprised her. Not "Do you love me?" Not "Was this worth it?" Just, "Are you happy?" She forced a smile. "I think I'm still trying to understand all of this." He nodded gently, as if he understood confusion better than joy. "I don't expect perfection," he said. "Just honesty." The word struck her harder than he could ever know. Honesty. The one thing she could never give him. Later that night, while Adrian greeted investors, Elena slipped into a private hallway. Her phone vibrated once. A message appeared. Phase 1 complete. Begin extraction soon. Her chest tightened. She typed back slowly. "He trusts me." The reply came instantly. "Good. That's how this works." She stared at the screen longer than necessary, because something already felt wrong. Adrian Hale wasn't the monster she expected. He thanked servers by name. He listened when people spoke. And when a young employee nervously spilled wine on his suit, Adrian laughed instead of firing him. Small moments. Invisible moments. Moments that didn't match the man she came to destroy. From the balcony, she watched him standing alone again. City lights reflecting in his eyes. A powerful man surrounded by thousands, yet somehow completely isolated. And for the first time since accepting her mission, Elena felt fear. Not fear of getting caught, but fear of what would happen if she started caring. Because the closer she got to Adrian Hale, the harder it would be to break him. And the most dangerous part, a quiet voice inside her whispered, maybe he didn't deserve to be broken at all. Adrian Hale's life looked perfect from the outside. Private jets waited on command. Entire companies rose or fell based on his decisions. His penthouse stretched across the skyline like a palace made of glass. But luxury couldn't silence memory. 5 years earlier, the woman he loved betrayed him publicly, selling company secrets that nearly erased everything he built. Since then, Adrian trusted contracts more than hearts. His home remained spotless, untouched, temporary, every relationship carefully distant, until Elena arrived. She moved through his world gracefully, learning routines too quickly. Staff noticed she memorized security layouts without trying. She rarely spoke about her past. And sometimes, late at night, she stood by the window as if waiting for something, or someone. Adrian noticed these things. He always noticed. But instead of suspicion, he felt curiosity, because behind her calm expression lived sadness he recognized. The kind people carry when they've survived something they never talk about. Still, one question lingered in his mind. Who was Elena Cross before she became his wife? And why did she sometimes look at him like she was apologizing for something he didn't understand? Their first meeting replayed often in Adrian's memory. A charity auction. Crowded. Predictable. Until she challenged him over a painting he planned to buy. "You don't actually like it," she told him calmly. The room went silent. No one spoke to Adrian Hale that way. "And how would you know?" he asked. "Because you're not looking at the art," she said. "You're looking at what people expect you to choose." It was bold, honest, unexpected. He bought the painting anyway, then gave it to her. Not as flirtation, as curiosity. That was the moment everything began. And maybe the moment everything was doomed. Their marriage started as an arrangement. Separate routines, careful conversations, emotional distance. But connection grew quietly. Morning coffee left waiting for him before meetings. A handwritten note wishing him luck before a difficult merger. Late-night conversations about childhood dreams neither admitted still mattered. One evening during a storm, the power briefly failed. The penthouse fell into darkness. Elena laughed softly. "I guess even billionaires can't control everything." Adrian surprised himself by laughing too. Felt normal, peaceful, dangerously real. Yet she often disappeared. Short, unexplained trips. Phone calls she ended when he entered rooms. Why did she vanish without explanation? Who kept calling her after midnight? Adrian tried not to care. But trust, once broken, learns to recognize patterns. And doubt slowly returned. Elena began pulling away. Less eye contact. Shorter conversations. Sleepless nights. She avoided his touch. Not coldly, but painfully. As if closeness hurt her. One night Adrian finally asked, "Are you planning to leave?" Her silence answered louder than words. "I never wanted to hurt you," she whispered. The sentence froze him. Never wanted to. Not wouldn't. His heart prepared for betrayal before proof even arrived. Because history had taught him one lesson. Love always comes with a cost. Twist 1. The fake identity. A private investigator confirmed it. Elena Cross was not her real name. Her past had been rewritten. Adrian felt the familiar sting of deception. But something stopped him from confronting her immediately. He needed to know why. Twist 2. The secret handler. Following her one night, Adrian witnessed her meeting a powerful corporate rival. Documents exchanged. Voices tense. He heard, "He can't find out yet." The betrayal felt undeniable. But then she said something unexpected. "I won't destroy him." Confusion replaced anger. If she wasn't against him, then who was? Twist 3. The setup. Leaked documents suddenly accused Adrian's company of fraud. Stock prices crashed overnight. Evidence looked real. Too real. And every access point traced back to Elena's credentials. Someone had used her to frame him. Someone far more dangerous was controlling the game. When Adrian confronted her, Elena didn't deny anything. She broke. "I came to ruin you," she admitted through tears. Silence filled the room. "But I stayed because you were nothing like the man they described." Her voice trembled. "You were kind when no one watched." Adrian asked the only question that mattered. Was any of it real? She stepped closer. All of it. For the first time he saw fear in her. Not of losing wealth, but of losing him. And that terrified him more than betrayal ever could. Elena's father had been an engineer at a company Adrian unknowingly acquired. Corporate manipulation by a rival CEO caused the collapse. Not Adrian. But forged evidence convinced her otherwise. She was recruited as revenge. Used as a weapon. The rival company planned to destroy Adrian and take his empire. And Elena had been the key, until she fell in love with the target. The rival CEO launched the final attack publicly. Media chaos, legal threats, financial collapse imminent. Elena made her choice. During a live press conference, she exposed everything. Her mission, the manipulation, her guilt. She sacrificed her reputation to save Adrian's truth. The room erupted. Arrests followed. The empire survived. But Elena disappeared before Adrian could reach her, because she believed love didn't erase betrayal. Months later, Adrian found her teaching coding to underprivileged kids in Brooklyn. No luxury, no disguise, just sincerity. "I didn't think you'd want to see me," she said softly. He looked around the small classroom. "You saved everything," he replied. She shook her head. "I almost destroyed it first." He stepped closer. "People aren't defined by their worst decision." Silence. Then he added quietly, "They're defined by what they choose after." He held out his hand. Not as a billionaire, just a man choosing trust again. Outside, the city lights glowed warmer than before, because sometimes love doesn't begin with honesty. Sometimes it survives betrayal, and sometimes the person sent to break your heart becomes the one who finally teaches it how to heal. And for Adrian Hale, the greatest risk he ever took wasn't building an empire. It was believing in love. One more time.